Hey, what is up guys, YukaChipsy, and we are back here today for ITL Week 3. Going to be playing off against Nova today in this game. And yeah, he's one of my divisional opponents, but before I jump into the game, I just want to quickly mention to you guys, any new subscribers of mine that may not have seen my past couple of seasons in the ITL, and may be interested in seeing my runs, I am going to leave a playlist link down below in the description, and that's going to have both my season, I think it was Season 5 and Season 6 runs in the ITL, so yeah, definitely recommend you guys go check that out if you are looking for more draft content, you know, from me. You know, you're quite up to date with MPL, but maybe you guys haven't seen ITL. Certainly a fun league, and there are definitely some amazing matches in there, so I do recommend you go and check those out. I drafted some pretty fun teams for both seasons, so if you're looking for more, go check those out. But yeah, as I mentioned, we're playing off against Nova today, and he's one of our divisional opponents. So he's a guy we faced twice in a season, along with Zazo. And we faced Zazo last season, so week 3 we're getting both of our divisional games under our belt, which is nice moving forward. So we have Nova here today, and Nova's had a pretty tough start to the season so far, in the sense that he's had to face off against both Anthony Inzazo and Matty Brolic. So, and now he's facing off against us. So he's had a pretty tough schedule so far, but he's done really well in both games, in my opinion. He's definitely put up a fight. He's by no means a slouch. He knows how to play Mons. He knows what he's doing. So it's gonna be a very fun one for sure. I can't reveal too much about my team because we do play again during the season, and he is a divisional opponent. So yeah, it's important that I keep certain things that I didn't reveal maybe under wraps. But I can say a few things about my team. We have a Life Orb, Hidden Power Fire, Leaf Storm Superior, which is pretty nice versus his team. Obviously it's checked by Amoonguss if I don't have it weakened, but I do have Glare on this set, and Glare is aimed at crippling Superior switch-ins, allowing the rest of my mons to have an easier time taking them on. We have a U-turn, a nice bulky U-turn, Mega Sizzle. We have a Dual Stab Tapu Koko. We have a special Tapu Koko. We have Rocks Earth Power special Seismitoad with a Toxic to lure and stuff like Rotom. We have the Gliscor with the SD, EQ, and Knockoff this game. Knockoff is really nice to just cripple stuff like Rotom that wants to switch in on Gliscor. And honestly, Gliscor at +2 can just win, depending on how weakened the Rotom is. And then we have a Curse Snorlax. Now, Lax looking pretty clean in this matchup, to be honest. Like, if I can gauge sets, if I can weaken certain checks to it, it could potentially be a nice win con in this endgame. So, gonna jump into the game. He does lead off with the Rotom here, as I do lead off with my Superior, so we get a nice lead matchup turn 1, as he is actually going to switch out this turn as he goes into Amoonguss, and I catch him here with the Glare, so Amoonguss is paralyzed, and this is going to be big for the rest of my team as we move forward. He is going to Sludge Bomb this turn, as the likelihood of him sporing there very low if he even has Spore. Spore is kind of a questionable bring because I do have Electric Terrain, and I have a fantastic Status Absorber in Gliscor, so I'm not too worried about Spore, but yeah, he does choose to fire with the Sludge Bomb there, and my Gliscor is going to get its Toxic Orb activated, as now I will just be able to throw off a Knockoff. He is now going to switch out into Rotom, and this thing is not going to appreciate the Knockoff. Does nice 21, that's good chip, especially if this thing doesn't have recovery. So this turn I am going to go out to my Toad, as he does go for the Hydro there, perhaps expecting a Toxic, which was a fair play. Like, I think Hydro was a fine play there. You want to weaken Gliscor because Gliscor is a big threat to your team, so he's now going to reveal Hidden Power Grass, and that does around half, but with the combination of Lefties plus Protect, we are going to be out of range of the following Hidden Power Grass, so he's going to go for the Hidden Power again, as we do get the Lefties back, and I'm not trying to stay in here. I do have Serp, which does give me a Leaf Storm the following turn, but he does reveal Defog, so this is nice to know. So he's Hidden Power Grass, Defog, Hydro. If he's not Volt Switch, it means he can't grab momentum versus my team. If he's not Wisp, he just loses to my Sizzle if I'm an SD variant. And he also is setup bait for my Snorlax, and if he's not Pain Split, then he doesn't have recovery. So all important to know. That was the nice thing about this team. Like, it was really built to take on any form of Rotom. Like, Rotom really had to choose. If he wanted Hidden Power Grass for my Toad, then he really lost out on coverage or utility versus the rest of my team. And if you opted for Hidden Power Grass, if you didn't opt for Hidden Power Grass, then Toxic Toad beat it 1v1 with ease. So I'm now going to go for the Leaf Storm this turn, as I want to gauge damage off on this Amoonguss. I wanted to determine if he is Fizz Def or even Mixed Def, but this damage kind of implies that he is actually Max for Def, so this is good to know. I'm going to reveal to be Life Orb, as this turn I am going to switch back out into my Gliscor, which is a really nice check to this Amoonguss, as his Sludge Bomb is going to do nothing. And this turn, I believe I just knock once again, as I want to get chip on that Rotom, but he does bring in the Gyarados here, and I'm going to get a nice 10 off on that. And this is going to allow me to bring in my Sizzle this turn, as he does choose to Mega Up and go for the Dragon Dance, I believe, this turn. Yep, so +1 Gira is a threat, but he's going to switch out this turn and go into Arcanine, scouting for the Bug Bite, which I can definitely respect, or just not wanting to take a U-turn, knowing that Sizz lives a +1 hit from Gira at that range of health. Obviously at full, Mega Sizzle is very bulky. So here I'm going to U-turn out into my Toad, which gives me Rocks once again, as he is going to bring in his Arcanine to check my Sizzle. He's going to fire off a Wisp here, very aggressive, unnecessarily aggressive in my opinion. Like, I'm not gonna bag it, but I'm lefties, so lefties negates the burn chip, and if I was special, like which I am, and I got a big hit off on Arcanine, it really forced it, really pressured his responses to Sizzle, because now that Rotom is chipped and doesn't have lefties, his team is really weak to Mega Sizzle, so he really risked his Arcanine there, and I can't really respect that play, because he didn't Toxic me, he just burnt me, and that's not like Toad is getting whittled too much with the burn. But anyway, he does make that play, as here I am able to get my Rocks up, and right here I am going to Toxic, expecting his Rotom to come in, but he goes Amoonguss, which is a nice play in his part, as Amoonguss is going to come in and force out my Seismitoad. So right here I am going to protect to scout for the double into into his Gyarados, expecting my Gliscor, as that is what he does decide to do. And right here I'm going to fire for Toxic. So he's shown DD, he's probably got Dual Stab, he's either got Crunch, Waterfall, or he's got Ice Fang, or potentially EQ, but EQ is pretty bad coverage versus me. He's probably got Waterfall and Crunch, or Waterfall and Ice Fang. Those are my thoughts. Mold Breaker bypassing Toad's Water Absorb, so he doesn't really have to worry about that. But he's actually going to reveal Taunt here, which is really interesting. So he's Taunt, Dragon Dance, Waterfall, and maybe Crunch. which is an interesting set. And this turn I am going to go out to my Sizzle, as he does go for the Crunch, and he gets the Spit F drop. So this is revealed, like the knockoff damage earlier revealed him to be a max HP Gyarados, and that Crunch damage reveals that he's max attack Adamant, and he gets the drop. So very unfortunate. But if he gets another drop on my Sizzle, then if he gets a completely max roll, he can potentially knock out my Sizz from this range. So I don't want to risk that, plus I am faster, so I am just going to U-turn out here. I'm going to go hard out into my Superior, as even if he Dragon Danced, I would be able to live the following hit at +1, like a +1 Crunch I wouldn't go down to. But he goes for Crunch again and gets another defense drop, which is it's kind of meaningless, but it's just pretty funny, as I am going to fire for Leaf Storm here. We don't play around with those threats, as Synthesis would have been a fine play if I had it. But honestly, like the threat of him just staying in and crunching there, and me losing my Serp because I was at -1, was a risk I wasn't willing to take. If he didn't get the defense drop, I happily would have synthesized up that turn, but yeah, his defense drop meant that I would be taking more damage than I was healing there if he stayed in a crunch. So I'm just going to go for Leaf Storm here, and it gets a nice 10 off on this Amoonguss, as this does let me go hard out into my Gliscor once again, as he does get paralyzed there. Not the end of the world, I was pretty much healing everything back with my Toxic Orb anyway if he got off a hit, but here I am going to SD up, as he does decide to go for the Giga Drain, and that does absolutely nothing to Gliscor, and we're going to get that nice recovery back. So Gliscor really proving its worth already in this first match that it's come to, and here I'm just going to knock off, get some nice chip off on the Rotom. I know that I'm probably going to be faster than this Rotom, and I will be able to 2KO him here with a knockoff, as even if he does Hydro, it won't kill my Gliscor, and his Defog is probably going to be what he wants to go for, because Arcanine is heavily pressured at this stage. So I'm just going to stand and go for another knock, take out this Rotom, and that's one of Sizzle's checks gone. And that means that if I do get Rocks up again, they're here to stay with my Toad. Now he's going to go into his Garchomp here, and as I mentioned, this is one of his Z-move users, so I was expecting him to go for Z-move here, or potentially SD. Maybe get Rocks, but I don't think you play around with a threat like Gliscor in front of you. Chances are he was just going to go for the Z-move here, and because my Gliscor is hard body, we do live that. We take that with ease, and we are able to just go for the Earthquake there, dealing huge damage, putting him in guaranteed range of something like Dazzling Gleam from Coco, as well as Bullet Punch from my Sizzle, depending on rolls, and Return from my Snorlax. So He's revealed to be offensive based on the damage he took from Earthquake and the damage he dealt to me with the Z move there, so this is really nice. I'm just going to sack off my Serp here, reason being, if he goes for Outrage, which is the only move that he can really reliably click to hope to take Gliscor out, because it's a roll and it's heavily in my favour, but no point risking the win con here when Gliscor can literally just win. So I'm going to go to Serp. If he outrages, my Serp dies, but I revenge with Koko, and that is going to be the series of plays that is about to unfold, as he does go for the outrage, which gives me Koko, and this means that I can remove Chomp from the game, really just allowing me to spam Volt Switch at this stage, because Amoonguss could come in, of course, but you know, I always have Snorlax, I always have my Gliscor in the back to take on that Amoonguss, so he's going to go out into his Arcanine here, and I'm just going to Volt Switch, get some nice damage off on this, and I'm going to go out into my Seismitoad, as he's actually going to go for the Flare Blitz, and that does 18, so we chew that up. And this stage I will be able to get up my rocks, which are going to be really nice. I think it kills his Gyarados if I get up rocks, which is useful. And it's going to force every time this Arcanine comes in now, because realistically he's going to be forced out by my Toad unless he wants to sack off his only Sizzle check. He's going to be forced out here, and he's now going to come in on 75 later when he comes in on rocks. So this turn I'm going to stay in an Earth Power, as I think Nova expected me to be a physical Toad, so he didn't. I guess he wasn't really expecting special Toad here, but I hadn't revealed at this stage too, so I guess I'd preserved that kind of knowledge from him. But yeah, Earth Power is going to do 61, and we get the Spadef drop. So even if he wanted to, like, he couldn't even outstall my Earth Powers without the Spadef drop with Morning Sun, because it's doing way more than 50. But he is going to go down to a following Earth Power if he stays in, and if he switches out, he's going to come in at around 12% after the around 14% after rocks next time he comes in. So he's not going to be a check to my Sizzle. So that's really nice for us. He is just going to go for the E speed here, and that fails to take out Toad, as I will be able to take him out here with the Earth Power. So now, you guys have probably been looking at Nova's team this whole game, and you've seen this Magearna chilling in the back, and now Magearna is a threat that deserves respect. This thing is a monster, and we allow it in the ITL, but it doesn't have access to Z moves, which I think is pretty fair, because Z Magearna, we faced it last season in the ITL, and it had a Z move, and it was like, it wasn't broken or anything, but it really did force us to prep really, really heavily in such a way to be able to check every Z variant, which I think is just too, I think it's too restricting in draft Z Magearna. But I think like regular Magearna is just an incredible mon. Like, I don't think it's completely broken, certainly not as much as Z Magearna, but it's, yeah, it's still a nightmare for a lot of teams to take on. Anyway, at this stage I am going to switch out to my Snorlax, because I do not want this thing to be Shift Gear Weakness Policy, which is a potential to win in this game. Like, if I go for Earth Power here and deal like 40% or something, because Magearna is so fat, and he Shift Gears up and he's Focus Blast, I can lose this game, and that's not something I want to risk. So I am just going to go hard out into my Snorlax, and he is going to go for the Shift Gear this turn. So I'm like, damn, okay, maybe he is Shift Gear Weakness Policy, as he is going to fire for Flash Cannon, and I am just going to Curse Up. Now, I'm going to Curse Up because I want to get this Magearna to a range of health where it's in range of my Sizzle's Bullet Punch. So what I'm going to do first is he's going to Flash Cannon this turn. I am just going to fire for return. Unfortunately, +1 EQ does not put max HP Magearna into range of Bullet Punch, as ridiculous as that sounds. So I do have to get Return Chip on it first to guarantee that it's in range after an EQ of Bullet Punch. So yeah, you got to play around these threats in such a way as to prevent getting counter swept by a weakness policy set like that. So he's going to go for Flash Cannon, and he's going to activate my Figgy. So yeah, Big Lax is back, and this Earthquake is going to put him down to 9%, but he's actually going to reveal the Eye of Papa Berry. So this means that he's not weakness policy, which means that he's significantly less of a threat. So that's a big sigh of relief for my team, but at the same time, if he was weakness policy, then he would have been left at a range of health where Sizzle's Bullet Punch would have comfortably been able to revenge him, and then Gliscor won the end game, Sizzle won the end game. It was no real big deal from there, but he is going to go for the Fluid Cannon. That does 36, and Big Lax is just going to take out the Magearna here with the EQ. So yeah, Lax is a monster, really putting in work. Both games have brought it, but he is going to make the switch out into Gyarados here for some reason, as I do just recycle my berry, and this is going to ensure that I'm back at a nice amount of health. And yeah, Lax is going to be able to take out the Gyarados here, as he is going to now bring in the Amoonguss. And yeah, there's not really a way this Amoonguss can beat down my Snorlax. I can just recycle, and if he poisons me with Sludge Bomb, I don't have to worry about Spore, and I can just 1v1 it with Curse Return. If he wants to Spore me, then I'm just going to get my Berry if he wants to spam Sludge Bomb, depending on how many sleep turns he gets. And yeah, this Amoonguss is looking in a pretty bleak spot right now. The Paralysis is definitely coming through a couple of times. It didn't really ultimately matter because this Amoonguss was walled by both the Snorlax and the Gliscor. He probably had Hidden Power Fire. He was probably Hidden Power Fire, Spore, Giga Drain, and Sludge Bomb was my bet. So he wasn't Clear Smog, otherwise he probably would have clicked it. As Snorlax will be able to claim another life at the end. So yeah, it's going to be my week 3 game. Snorlax really putting in the work. Pretty happy with the way the team functioned. Good game to Nova. I will be facing him later on, so that's going to be a fun rematch for sure. I'm sure he's going to shake things up, bring a pretty different style team, so it's going to be interesting when we face him again. But yeah, that's going to be it for my week 3. Hope you guys did enjoy. Drop a like if you did, and let me know what you guys thought of the match in the comments, and I'll catch you guys next time.